speaking with, that's Timbo. Timbo is a comedian, a model, an educator, and most of all, content creator. She's been in multiple shows, including, of course, The Apprentice, You're Fired, as well as Paralympics, being a host there, and of course, the NBA Sports. She's also led her own shows in Korea as well. Can you all congratulations? Thank you so much for being here, first of all.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. It's a dream of mine to go to Cambridge without actually knowing, so it's really cool.
Well, just to start off, so what have you been doing recently? What's your life been like? Life, work, education, things like that?
Life has been a bit hectic.
Yeah.
So just last year, as you mentioned, I was a host at the Paralympics.
Yes.
One of the biggest jobs that I've ever done in my life, and it was super exciting because, I was able to see the sports. I was able to see like wheelchair rugby, wheelchair basketball, and it was such a cool experience to be around like-minded people and see them kill it in their sport. So that was really fun. I've also been doing wedding dress shopping as well. So, I'm getting married soon. Can't wait this summer. So I've been doing that. And I've just been focusing on just pushing my advocacy and being the best content creator I can be, It's hard to be consistent on so many platforms, but it's the power of showing up and being that representation as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you often speak about being fearless. You also said it today. And of course, you've been on Vogue, you've been on sort of Glamour magazine. And how did that feel to be represented and seen in those spaces?
Honestly, I didn't think I'd actually be able to do such things. Because when I started modelling, I thought, okay, as a joke, maybe I'll do Vogue one day. And then to get the call that, they actually wanted me on there, I thought it was a prank. And I was thinking, oh my God, who's pranking me here? But it wasn't a prank, it was real. Like, they wanted me to be there, you know?
Yeah.
And to be a part of Vogue and to be woman creator of the year with Glamour was just insane, to be honest, because I don't do what I do for awards. I do it because I love it. I do it because I'm changing people's perceptions. I'm changing people's lives. And when I went to New York last week, I met one of my Instagram friends that I've been longing to meet, and he basically said to me that I do content because of you. Like, I started because of you. Like, if you hadn't have started, I wouldn't have the confidence to have done it. And he's a little person like me, and he does amazing content. So for him to say that, I was like, me? So that's my why, and that's why I just keep going at doing it, It's so important to me. And to get rewarded for it, it's just amazing.
And of course you speak about obviously inspiration, inspiring people. What does that mean to you? And of course sort of your sort of emblem being fearless, being sort of seen and being represented. What is it to be like that?
It feels amazing. I think Sinead Burke, Ellie Simmons, they are people that I've looked up to, and to be alongside them in shoots and things like that is amazing. And for us to be a force to be representation for people with dwarfism is amazing. Like, it's something that I've always dreamt of. It's something when I first started, that was my goal. Yeah. And to be able to reach that, it shows that if you have a goal in mind, if you have a why, you can do it. You can. Like, if it takes time, it takes effort, it takes dedication. You guys will know, being in Cambridge, best uni in England, you can get there. So it's such an achievement to be able to do so.
Yeah, and sort of speaking on that sort of talent, skill, and again, dedication, when did you realise that you were skilled in comedy and that you were funny? What was sort of the reaction of friends and family? How did you come into that?
I think having a funny family to start with, because we don't take anything seriously. Yeah. Life is just a joke sometimes. And we don't take things too seriously. We always laugh at each other. We always laugh at jokes. And when I'd go to school and make people laugh, it made me think, okay, I'm the outgoing funny one. I can make things lighter in a room.
Yeah, entertain,
you know. So having that in mind, and then when the lockdown happened, I thought to myself, I really want to start comedy. I really want to start showing my funny side on TikTok. And, you know, I heard it on the radio. I remember I was in an Uber and the radio host was saying, oh, this new app called TikTok that people can't stop using, you know. And during this lockdown, I thought, you know what? This is my perfect opportunity to start learning how to use TikTok and just test it out. I started doing funny my phone. Anyway, I started doing funny videos on there just to basically learn how to make funny videos and just keep it up and just make it jokes and whatever. And then I started gaining popularity because people started liking them, and that started to make me a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie to you, because I thought, oh, I've got an audience now to appease, because before there wasn't many people watching. So I started gaining more followers, and then it just kind of blew up in like a few months. And it was super exciting, and I thought I need to carry on with this and see where it goes, kind of thing. So TikTok is from when I started to where it is now. It's a whole different app now, which is really cool. It's really insane, and I'm very excited. I'm very happy to be a part of such a movement. And be that representation again for people. So
absolutely,
it's really cool.
Yeah, well, of course, sort of comedy has sort of had a new platform on social media, on sort of TikTok, as you mentioned, Facebook, Instagram. It's becoming sort of very social media centric sort of display. And how did you navigate that? Again, how did it sort of bolster your career in life, and how did it also encourage you to continue in spite of nerves?
In spite of nerves, do you know what? I thought to myself, if people discriminate against me in person, like with staring at me or taking pictures of me, then what is a bad comment? You know, I just went in with with a fearless spirit and thought, you know what, I've got all to gain than to lose with trying out this app. And plus, when you're at home doing nothing, like, why not? You know, why not give it a go? It's super nerve-wracking, like showing your vulnerable side, like showing things that actually affect you. But I want to entertain people through that. You know, I wanted to show people I wanted to show people themselves sometimes, in a way of acting like they're discriminating against me or somebody with a disability, and it's almost like a reflection of like those bad-spirited people, but in a funny way. So it's almost like advocacy in a funny, spirited way. So, yeah,
absolutely. And sort of moving on, sort of in terms of your other career, sort of your other sort of habits, how did you use that to again sort of make variation in your life? You know, of course, you're a model, you're an author and a writer and a content creator. How did you use this sort of fearless spirit to move on to other points in sort of your life?
I think again, having nothing to lose kind of mindset. If I give it my all and give it my everything, I won't have any regrets. So with modelling, like, I've always wanted to do modelling from a young age, and I never thought I was good enough. I thought I'm too small, nobody's going to want to see somebody like me. And then when I just gave it a go, and I read a book called The Secret by Rhonda Burns, and that gave me like this. I felt like I got the power of manifestation after reading that, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna maybe change my direction in life, because I was doing accounting, and there's nothing wrong with accounting, by the way. It's a bit boring, but it wasn't for me at the time, and I realised that I want to be on a path of something different, you know, something cool. And even though I was scared and nervous and thought, oh my God, I can't even ask anyone for advice, because nobody's been on the path that I'm on right now. So I'm just going to have to go in head first and just see what happens. If I make mistakes, I make mistakes, you know. So it's kind of having that fearless spirit in everything that you do, because it's nerve-wracking to do anything new, to get into a subject or to get into a new career path. But I think as long as you do it, as long as you start, it's better than not doing it at all. So I think that's what I had in mind, and that's what these self-help books kind of taught me in a way, because me being lost and depressed in life and wasn't where I wanted to be. You know, so I started researching how to be more confident, how to be more happy in myself, because the only person that was getting in the way of things was me. So I kind of needed to let go of all my insecurities, fears and things like that. So that's what helps.
Absolutely. And how much of this would you say was a reaction against, let's say, sort of nasty comments, ableism, or just not being seen and represented in certain spaces?
I think it's almost like a F you in a way to all the people that hate on me. And, you know, even recently when I went to New York, when I came back, I was holding a drink and I had my cabin bag. As soon as I came in, the guy, the air hostess, was like, "Oh, this seems a bit heavy. Why are you carrying this around? Like, you should have thought about that. How are you going to put that up there?" I was like, I could ask you. That's what your job is, you know. Yeah, it came in with a really like, why are you here by yourself doing this? You know, kind of thing. And it really upset me, because it was like, I can't believe how people's attitudes are, you know, kind of thing. And I spoke to the other hosts and I said, listen, I'm a content creator, got 3 million followers. I'd love to talk about this experience. And they were really sucking up to me, basically. So after that, I just thought, you know what, this is my time to like educate people and just tell them that their attitudes are just not nice towards people with disabilities, because at the end of the day, it's not my fault that I'm little. It's just the way I'm born. So it's just, it's all about educating and you know, kind of steering away from the people that think, or the bad-minded people, basically. Yeah,
amazing. And sort of speaking about education and empowerment, of course you're an author, congratulations. And in your book, Main Character Energy, you speak about sort of empowerment and sort of going against traditional narratives. How can you sort of inspire other people to do the same?
I think through... it's really important for other people to do it, because I think it's something that a lot of people find really scary, to go out of their comfort zone. And I find that a lot of people make excuses. You know, instead of finding excuses, let's find ways to get around what we want to do in life. You know, whether we want to go to the gym, whether we want to, you know, get to that goal, you know, that new career path. It's scary, it's hard, it's all of the above. But I think people need to start learning how to make excuses to do what they want to do. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but I think once you start exercising that muscle of confidence, because I see confidence as a muscle. If you exercise it, it will grow stronger. If you don't exercise it, it's weak. It's nothing there. So every year, every day, I'm always doing something to push myself, to do something scary. Like, for example, when I did Don't Look Down on Channel 4 with Paddy McGuinness, G.K. Barry, Anton Ferdinand, it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. We did high wire walking, 90 metres above ground. And I don't know why I agreed to do this, but I thought to myself, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do it. And, it was interesting to say the least, because, you know, there was many tears, it was many doubts, but after I did it, I've never felt so confident, you know. It made me feel like, even now with heights, I'm like, well, nothing scarier than what I did in Austria.
Yeah.
So it's almost like once you get over that hurdle of scariness, you can do more. You can do leaps and bounds kind of thing. So that's what I want to teach other people, to get on the other side of fear and be confident and be secure and empowered, you know?
No, absolutely. I think sort of moving on to that, obviously sort of for many people, comedy is a form of self-expression, some form of self-release, right? And your comedy is quite interesting because it combines almost advocacy and entertainment and sort of puts them together and confronts us with that sort of head on. How do you sort of deal with that? How do you navigate that? And sort of what's your best sort of way of showing that to us?
My best way of showing my comedy is just being honest and upfront and not serious as well. I think a lot of people feel almost like a victim in life.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not a victim. I'm somebody that has to laugh. You know, I want to enjoy life, and you can't enjoy life if you're always a victim.
Yeah.
So I use humour through the sad times in my life, or something that's challenging. You know, let's say something like Tesco's. They always have the best stuff on the top shelf for some reason. I don't know why. But I would make a joke out of it to the shopkeeper and make them laugh instead of being upset about it, because it is my reality at the end of the day. I can't change it. So I'm turning my weakness into like a superpower, and that's what I think people need to learn how to do. Turning weaknesses into something funny or something that isn't like, you know, too serious in life. Yes, sometimes take things seriously. I'm not saying don't not be serious in life. That's not the message I'm trying to send. Yeah. But I think it's really important to just see the positives in things and have a laugh at things, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of going more into that, sort of how do we push beyond our negativity, you know, self-doubt, sort of self-worry and anxiety, let's say, and sort of set ourselves in sort of different positions and different sort of places of power, as you have done with Vogue, of course.
I think it is really difficult, I'm not going to lie, doing so, but it's something that you have to literally work in your brain to do. Every time there's a negative, you've got to think the positives. Yeah. Just practice that. There's always, like, okay, you could have a rubbish day, but you're alive, you're happy, you're in your house, you're this. I always think that, you know, like, for example, the most recent trip, the New York trip, I haven't said this online, but I'm going to say it to you guys. Basically, when I went to the airport, my mum got denied entry because she was there in the summer for like 3 months, and she was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. She had too much of a good time and overstayed. But when she went with me to the airport, she got denied, and I was crying my eyes out because I was trying out my dress, my wedding dress. Yes. And, you know, I could have been upset that whole trip, but I didn't. I chose to be happy, even though I was a little bit sad, because at the end of the day, I'm going to New York. Yeah. Yes, on my own. It was upsetting, but I was going to New York, trip of a lifetime, and trying on wedding dresses. And the most important thing is, when they do see my dress, it'll be the first time. Yeah. And that will be a beautiful reaction. So I had to think really hard to think of the positives to make my trip a bit better. And that's what I want to encourage other people to do in their situations. It's really important to just think of the positives and think of how could this be a better situation in your head, because it's so easy to go down a rabbit hole of negativity. And I think it's important to encourage people to think of the positives, think of the bright side of life, glass half full kind of mentality. So
it's all about perspective in many senses. Yeah, and sort of moving on to perspective, I think one of your most notable public appearances, of course, was on The Undateables, and that's where I first saw you as well. And of course, that show has received quite a lot of criticism for its depiction of sort of disability. And sort of how did you navigate sort of going onto the show? What made you want to go on the show, essentially?
So I got asked to go on the show, and initially I didn't really want to go on the show because it was called
Yeah.
Undateables.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, oh, I don't really want to go on a show that's going to be degrading.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I declined it at first. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, I've never been on TV before. I kind of want a different path in life. Maybe I might find love. Who knows? I was thinking that. And yeah, I thought, okay, I've got more to gain than lose.
Yeah.
Even though it's terrifying and scary to go on TV, what are people going to think? Oh my God, this and that. I thought, do you know what? Let's give it a go. So I messaged them and I said, I changed my mind. If you still going, you can have me, kind of thing. And yeah, it was very cool to be on the show. I know the name I hate the name so much, but yeah, it was my first ever TV appearance, first time ever like going on a proper date online, and I think it's cool for people to see my journey from the beginning. Because I was thinking, oh, you know, what if I continue to do TV and I start liking it? People are going to see that my journey from the beginning, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I thought to myself, I'm young. I you know, this is where I want to go. I don't want to do accounting.
Yeah.
I was so determined. So yeah, I think overall it was good.
Yeah.
And I think I represented myself on there quite good as well. So
yeah. And how did it feel being so exposed to the public eye and sort of public perceptions and opinions? What kinds of things did you receive and how did you fight back against that?
It was scary.
Yeah.
Oh my God. First time, like, really being exposed like that and people writing Twitter messages and, you know, lots of love and a bit of hate. But I thought, do you know what? I can't get worked up about the hate, you know? Yeah. I've got to appreciate people loving seeing somebody like me, because when I first watched the Undateables, I saw a lady called Mary Russell, who's also a black little woman, and that was the first time in my life I ever saw a black little woman, and that was quite groundbreaking for me, because I remember screaming at the TV saying to my dad, oh my God, she looks like me, oh my God. And I thought, when I had that moment of realisation and changing my mind, I thought, I want to give that feeling to someone else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy I did it.
Absolutely. And so speaking on ongoing TV appearances, authorship and things like that, what other projects are you working on in the future? Can you give us an insight into your sort of future works?
Well, I can't disclose completely, but just know I might be in the US soon.
Okay.
I might make it global. Who knows?
That would be amazing. Yeah.
That would be be amazing. So who knows? I've got a few things lined up, but can't disclose. But I want it to happen and then say.
Absolutely.
But just know, I hope you guys see me on American channels.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
amazing.
American TV is so fun as well. So
yeah, exactly. So, I love American people.
Yes, yeah.
They're very cool. We love our British people as well. I love being British, but I love Americans too. They're so friendly. You can just have a whole conversation with people in a elevator or something. It's just insane how friendly they are. So, yeah, I hope to be in the States doing some filming soon.
Absolutely. So moving on to my last question, what legacy do you want to leave in sort of advocacy, in comedy, and just sort of social sort of politics and sort of careers and education?
The legacy I would like to leave is I want other people to start doing advocacy because they saw me doing it and saw that I was successful in it. I want other people to see that from me. I also want to build an orphanage in Sierra Leone. I experienced a lot of disabled people there that need help. Yeah. And I thought to myself, oh my God, like, we have so many facilities in this country. Yeah. And somewhere like Sierra Leone, they don't have anything whatsoever, no government assistance or anything. So one day I would like to build like an orphanage for disabled children, that would be really, really cool. But for me, it's all about what am I going to imprint on other people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about myself or being the most famous. It's about how would that fame help other people, you know? So, just be that person.
Yeah.
That's the legacy I want to
Like a lasting image on the world.
Yeah, a lasting image on the world, and somebody that people can look up to in a way that kind of pushed against boundaries and, you know, when it defied the odds in a way. So that's the kind of effect I want to leave. Just a little effect.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, but now we go to audience questions. Do you have questions? Put your hand up and we'll speak to you. Yeah, Stanley first.
Hi, first of all, very inspiring talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question just surrounds, obviously, you're such a force of positivity on social media, but whenever we open social media these days, certainly on my feed, there's just so much sort of negativity, polarisation, political polarisation. So, like, how do you stay positive on social media, continue to put a positive message out amid a climate of like increasing negativity and pessimism?
I do agree with you. When you open up social media, it can be so negative to look at. So sometimes I just post and not look at social media. I find it's really important to follow people that don't bring you down.
Yeah.
You want to follow people that bring you up. You know, you want to follow people that make you feel good about yourself and make you laugh. If it's comedy people or politics, that you can't choose the politics that you see, but I think sometimes if you are feeling drained from social media, it's really important to take a break.
Yeah.
Because it can be consuming. So it's really important to take breaks, to follow the people that really matter to you and that don't make you feel horrible. And what else? If you get horrible comments, you block people. My block button's my favourite button, honestly.
Amazing, thank you. And I saw a question at the back, Ivan.
Yeah, so having someone who experiences the world through the intersecting realities of being black but also being disabled, how do you find that shapes your worldview and sort of shapes how you're able to relate to other people who are going through other things in life?
I think it definitely helps me relate to people much better, if that makes sense, in a way, because I can relate to people that have disabilities, hidden disabilities, a visible disability, and I can relate to people of colour, and I can relate to people who are white as well, because I'm from the UK and I know what it's like to grow up here, and I think being from so many different sectors of life, it's made me open to knowing how to make a whole group of people laugh in a way, because of the kind of experience I've had growing up here in the UK, being a disabled person, being a black person. You know, it's interesting to say the least, and I think it's helped my journey being able to be a disabled person, because 1 in 5 people are disabled, and when I go to like fashion shows that are mainly disabled models, it feels amazing to be able to be a part of that, because it's disabled people of colour as well, and I think it's so important to be involved in those kind of things, because it's speaking up, it's representing, it's empowering others, and it's empowering others that look like me but also have dreams of being in that kind of career as well.
Yeah.
So I like being me.
Amazing. Any other questions? Just put your hand up. Yeah, Emily.
Thank you for being here. Slightly short question. How was hosting the Paralympics? That sounds really cool.
Oh my god, it was insane. Like when they asked me, I thought, me. I'm like, what? It was very, very good to interview the athletes' families, athletes themselves, hold the gold medals. I felt like I had my own. when they would give it to me and stuff. Like, it was a nice experience, and I think being amongst it all as well was in Paris. My God, the city of love. Like, one day we did a shoot with Lenny. I don't know if you know him.
Yes.
He's an actor, and he's a little person as well. So cool to be amongst so many different people that have disabilities and talk about our experiences as well and relate on that kind of level as well, because sometimes it is hard to relate as well. Like, talking of intersectionalities, it is hard to relate sometimes because when you're going through certain things on top of being a black person as well, it's like, oh my God, this is difficult. But when I'm around other people that have disabilities and things like that, it kind of helps my confidence and helps me feel like seen as well, because, you know, being from a family that do not have any disabilities whatsoever, both my parents are average height, so sometimes I can feel alone. Sometimes I can feel like I'm a bit distant from them because it's just me. You know, I don't have somebody to call. Now I do, because I've got social media friends that have the same condition as me, but before I'll talk about an experience, but it's more pity than understanding kind of thing. So it's really important to have understanding as well between people, and, you know, watching the sports as well. That was cool. That was really, really cool. Wheelchair rugby, wheelchair basketball, powerlifting. I saw people that looked like me doing powerlifting.
Yeah.
It made me think, let me up my game in the gym. Oh my God. Like, just, you know, and I'm seeing people with no legs doing powerlifting. I thought, wow, this is insane. The atmosphere is just incredible. And, you know, I hope I'm hosting the next one. I don't know where the next one is, actually. Where is it? Is it LA? Yes,
it is LA. Yes, yeah.
Well, talking of America, I hope I'm there. That would be really cool.
Yeah, any other questions? I've been again.
Sorry, I've kept up with you on social media for a long time, and your social media explores a huge range of things. One of the things that it does do is, congratulations on being engaged.
Thank you. I try.
One of the things that I talk about in the comments is that lots of people feel so inspired to see you share your relationship so sort of proudly and vividly on social media. What has it been like to receive all of this support online?
Do you know what? It's so lovely because, you know, when I first started dating my fiance, that's when I started kind of getting up in the ranks with social media. And, you know, when we met, he said that he loves being behind the camera. I said I love being in front. This is going to be a match-up kind of thing. And when he proposed to me, it was beautiful to share. Like, why not share that? You know, I feel really strongly about our relationship, and I want to inspire others because we both have a disability and we relate on so many different levels, and, you know, God forbid it doesn't ever work out. Hopefully not ever. But I want to show people what a great relationship, or good example of a great relationship, and what that's like. You know, because for a long time I didn't ever have that, you know, and I want to give other people that are, you know, have a physical difference, give them hope as well. So, yeah, it's cool to show our journey, and I'm excited to see what marriage life does for us. You know, we kind of want to do travelling after we get married. So
yeah, no, congratulations.
Thank you.
I believe there was one from the back, Leonis.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. Obviously, we are here in the Cambridge Union, which is a free speech institution. So I'm always wondering, with your background in comedy, where do you see the limits of comedy? What can you make fun of? What can't you make fun of? In your opinion?
That's a good question. I don't make fun out of people's races. Don't make fun out of people's... Do you know what? I'll make jokes about myself because I think that's the limit, you know, kind of thing. You can't go, like, so off limit with yourself. You can a little bit, but almost... I try not to make fun out of other groups and other marginalised groups because it's... I think it's a bit of a cop-out, a little bit sometimes. But, you know, back in the day, in the 2000s, when it was common, like, it was... There wasn't social media, so there wasn't people to actually complain about it and things like that, like the way it is now. But I think... For me, I try not to talk about any sort of groups, talk about my experiences as a little person and dating and what it's like to be African as well, because that's interesting as well. That's an interesting life. So I try my best to just not try to talk about things that I don't know too much about or have assumptions about, because I don't want to get in trouble with no one.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Questions? Okay. Well, I think that will come to the end of our interview. Thank you so much for coming. We've all had an amazing time, and you've been such an insightful person to learn from on education, authorship, and congratulations for getting married later this year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.